Hello, 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 and welcome to a special episode of What the Quote. And I say special because there's been some changes in my life, and we're going to chat a little bit about those when we come back. But I wanted to bring the quote to you before we dove into the specifics of the quote. And actually, the quote is for me. And I just thought it up today when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about on this episode since it had been a minute. And I decided that I was going to be authentic about a change that had recently happened in my life. So the quote from me today is: if I have a choice, I'ma. And yes, I'm saying I'ma and not I am going to. If I have a choice, I'ma choose love every time. That's the quote for today. So I'm going to play my intro music and then we're going to come back and chat about the quote.
And with the quote, we create kind humans who speak kindness, show kindness. Be a kind human. Be a kind human.
Listen, I could sing it that I could sing that little small intro all the time because it is so true. It is so accurate. So here's the thing. So I'm talking about if I have a choice, I'm going to choose love every time. And that is because this month, July of 2020, to be exact, July the 2nd of 2022, I got married to my long standing boyfriend slash bae slash fiance, Dennis. And I'm super excited. And not only excited, but proud of myself because there was a time where I was like, listen, I ain't doing it. I don't get married. And I feel like uh, God was saying, listen, little girl, you don't tell me, I tell you. You are not the boss of me. I am the boss of you. That's how I feel like he talks to me. And so I said yes. I not only said yes to Dennis, but I said yes to my life. I said yes to love. And I said yes to loving in a different way. And so one of the things that I have realized about myself through this process is that in the past, I really don't know that I opened myself up to love and to be loved. And probably the closest thing to me, the closest thing to that to me was the unconditional love that I feel and that I experience from my son Andre, because he is literally a part of me. Um, he is the miracle that I created. And so, but being in an adult relationship um, with another human, I had not really opened myself up to that, to be completely honest. And here's the thing that because this episode is all about what I realized about me in my journey of love. And one of the things that I realized about me is that in the past, I had connected myself to people who um, had not been on their own journey of healing. No heat or no judgment, but the thing the thing that is unique about Dennis and about my relationship with Dennis and my now marriage with Dennis is that he takes healing seriously. Like he is on his own journey of healing. And it's like anything else. Like when I am in relationships with people who are on their own journey of healing, it inspires me to heal, inspires me to a higher level of consciousness. It inspires me to do the things that I have been afraid to do up until this point. And so ironically, we met each other at a personal development and leadership class. So, I mean, I feel like God was like, she ain't gonna, it ain't gonna happen no other way. I gotta set it up like this. She ain't gonna be open to nothing else. And I say that because I say it jokingly because I had already decided that I was really gonna be by myself, that my picker was off. I did not know how to pick people. Not that I should have been picking people in the first place, but I had decided that this this relationship thing, like I ain't good at it. I ain't good at it. And so I'm at this class, and I won't go into I won't bore you with all the specifics, but in the end, um, the thing that I respected about him the most is that he did not interfere with my experience in the class. It wasn't until after the class that he asked me out on a date. And the thing that really won me over was that he was a coach in the class, in the personal development and leadership class that I was taking. Shout out to Zarvo's uh, personal development and leadership class. And so that was the beginning. And it was through this process of me, because to be honest, I thought that I was like smart and intelligent about my life and the direction that I wanted it to go. And the truth is, not so much. And it was only through this process of me saying yes to me and saying yes to love that I was able to experience it on a whole new level. So, I was on TikTok. I love TikTok. And there's a lot of talk about relationships and marriage and who's doing what and who's not doing what they shoulda, coulda, woulda, and women and being submissive and men paying the bills and women um, wearing the pants. I mean, there's a whole lot of chatter around that. And um, what I am realizing for me is number one, what other people are doing in their relationship is none of my business. I'm concerned about my marriage and my relationship and my energy and thoughts and um, spirituality that I am choosing to pour into that. And so I have three quick things that I want to bring forth in this little conversation, this special episode about love. And um, there's just really three quick things that I want to chat about. And one of them is what I am realizing about my life is in my marriage is I am monitoring and focusing on how I show up in the marriage. And what I mean by that is being focused on what I believe a good wife does, what I believe a good life partner is responsible for doing, what I think is important for my relationship and my marriage. And just focusing on me, my behavior, my thoughts really keeps me extremely busy because now when I see uh, different things in um, relationships or on social media, my thought is, okay, is that something that I should incorporate or not? What could I get from what is going on here? So let me give you a quick example. A lot has been said about Kim Burrell. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And the rant that she was on in the pulpit. And so a lot of people said a lot of different things. What I got out of that is maybe I need to talk about another way to apologize because this is something that I got from another personal development program that I went through with Deanna Van Zant is focusing on my behavior. And here is the example that I gave on one of my social media posts. If I do something and I'm sorry for it, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I responded and acted in a way that I don't want to be representative of who I am. I understand that it it may take some time to get over this. I hope you do. If you choose not to, I understand. Please forgive me. These are some of the things that I'm going to put in place to ensure that this does not happen again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. You are important to me. And more importantly, I want to really pay attention to how my behavior has affected you. Please forgive me. It doesn't have anything to do with if you mad, I'm sorry. If I did something to, don't have nothing to do with that. So that's what I took out of what was going on. So that's what when I am paying attention to how I'm showing up, that is what I'm talking about. I'm paying attention to things that are happening outside. It's not about me judging Kim. It's not about that. It's about what I do. What is her lesson teaching me about me? So here's another thing. Um, so the first thing that I'm doing is I'm paying attention to how I show up because that's really the only thing that I can that I have any control over is how I show up. How am I showing up in my marriage? So here's the other thing that I have recently instituted. So we got married on July the 2nd. Recently, I have instituted praying for my husband. That's what I'm going to do. There are times where I let him hear me cover him in prayer, and there are times where I do not because none of us are perfect. And one thing I know about life, energy, spirituality, whatever you fill in the blank, one thing I know is that what you focus on expands. And I want to focus on praying for Dennis, honoring him, really asking God to protect him, to provide for him, to lead him, to guide him, to nudge him, to push him, to lift him up. Like that is what I am focusing on, is praying for him and over him that God will continue to use him and guide him. That enables me to choose love. Here's the last thing that um, I am doing in my marriage, and that is being responsible for making me happy. It's not his responsibility, it's mine. It's not his responsibility to do things that make me laugh, make me happy. That none of that is his responsibility because I am responsible for me, my choices, what I choose to do and not do. I'm responsible for that. And so, really going into this marriage and through this marriage with a sense of responsibility for me, not for Dennis. Because Dennis is responsible for himself. I am responsible for the wife that I am being. And I'm so excited about it. You know, I can remember a time when this was probably 20 years ago, where, back then I was doing a lot of reading the books and self help. I lived in the self help section. And one of the things that I learned and was excited about was that, oh, I'm responsible for me. Got it. I mean, because I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna go to a class. I'm gonna go to a conference. I'm gonna do the things to get me to move through. And the same thing happens in my relationships. I'm responsible for how my relationships look. With I'm responsible for how my marriage looks. I'm responsible for how my relationship with my son looks. I'm responsible for how my relationship with my friends and my sisters look. I'm responsible for that. And that gives me a lot of peace that I can be the instigator of love and happiness in my own life. And, even as it relates to my son, he's an adult. And the things that he has taught me and the transitions that I have had to make as a result of loving him has been huge. One of the biggest was that he doesn't need me to be his mother. I have to change that. He don't need me to tell him to do this or do that like I did when he was 6, because he's not 6, he's 30. And so I have really had to unravel and adjust those mommy tendencies and really just be a listener and a cheerleader. That's really all he needs. He don't need me to tell him you shoulda, woulda, coulda, because I got a whole bunch of shoulda, woulda, couldas in my own life. So he doesn't need that. So I am learning in my own life to really be the best person that I can be. And I know that seems so cliche, but it really takes a lot of time and effort for me to be responsible for me and how I am showing up on any given day in the relationships that I'm in. And that includes the relationship that I am in with me. That is also a responsibility. How am I taking care of me? Am I treating myself, my body, as something that I love? I was on a live with Iyanla and today, and she was talking to Mama, to Queen. I'm gonna mess up her name. I don't want to say it. Anyway, they was on YouTube, and one of the things that I got out of that is, oh, I want to eat a little cleaner. Now I don't eat horrible. I'm a pescatarian, um, so I eat fish, but I want to eat even cleaner than what I'm eating. So let me tell you the one adjustment I'm gonna make, because here's the thing: sometimes we hear things and we want to make adjustments, and you know, we want to start off and be experts or go to the top of the hill. No, I'm just going to take the first step. You know what the first step I'm going to take is? I'm going to have a spinach salad for lunch and a spinach salad for dinner. That's it. Those are two things. That's the one thing I'm going to do. That's the one thing that I'm going to incorporate. And of course, drinking more water. Look at this. Look, I got a jug of water. Listen, drinking more water. So those are two things that I took from um, the live with Iyanla. And so it's not about making, for me, it's not about making huge steps, but it is about making small, consistent steps over time, because that I can hold on to that. I can I can incorporate that into my life every day. And so that is one thing that I'm going to incorporate in my life, is to eating salads at least a couple times a day. And listen, it don't have to be no whole big rah rah to do. I don't eat iceberg because to me, there's no nutritional value in iceberg. I'm gonna have to have some spinach or kale. I'm gonna have to have some kind of salad like that. And it doesn't have to be boring. I can make me a kale salad. I can have some quinoa or something and throw some spinach in there. I can be creative with how I am eating. So these are the things that I'm incorporating because in my mind, if I have to choose, I'm going to choose love every time. And I'm going to choose love every time by monitoring how I show up, praying for my husband, and being responsible for my happiness. So that's what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? What are you going to choose? Anyway, here's my theme song. You want to hear it? Here it goes.
And with the quote, we create kind humans who speak kindness, show kindness, be a kind human. Be a kind human.